Hey, what's up? It's Jeff. Sorry, I'm still adjusting the camera here. Excuse me. All right, it's Wednesday. That means I went to the comic book store today on my lunch break. And these are the two comics that I picked up. Every week when I go to the comic book store, I always look at, the rack of all the new comics and see what's out, see if anything catches my eye. And this is the only one of the new books that I bought, but it's a reprint of an old book. Like I said in an earlier video, I really love these reprints of the older Marvel and DC books. The DC ones I really like because I love the type of paper that they print them on, and I don't know, it's just kind of fun to think that this is like how the original book was when you bought it off the rack back in, what was it, the 40s or whenever this book was originally printed. Let's see, 1942. Wow. So yeah, this is a reprint of the first appearance of Two-Face. So I haven't read any of these yet. I just kind of flipped through at the comic book store and was like, oh, this looks pretty cool. This second story appealed to me quite a bit too because it's got a mummy in it. And a green mummy at that, which is my favorite kind of mummy. So I'm gonna definitely be looking through this later. Let's see what this third story is. The Crimson Avenger. So I've seen this character before, but I'm not familiar with him at all. I was gonna say I'm not that familiar with him, but I'm just not familiar with him. But other than the way he looks, I've seen, like, I don't know where I've seen him, but I've seen this character before. Let's see what else was in here. Spy. Ooh, looks like Dick Tracy. Like, exactly like Dick Tracy. Airwave? What is this? I hope those are ghosts. Slam Bradley. This guy looks like he's got like pantyhose on his head. Anyway, it's a fun book. Tootsie Roll of Honor. Anyway, picked that guy up. Thought that was kind of a fun thing to flip through. And I also picked up this issue of Uncanny X-Men, number 254. This is a book that I've seen in long boxes at comic book stores for years and years, and I always pass it up. And I've always had this thought in my head, like, at some point I'm gonna pick this issue up. And today was the day. Normally when I find this comic, it's in like 50-cent dollar boxes and it's all beat up and everything. But for whatever reason, I've just I never pulled the trigger on this one, and I never picked it up. But today I was just like, you know what? Today's the day. I'm going to get this book. And this one's in really good shape. Not that I'm trying to... Not that this is a valuable comic or anything, but I like it when my comics are kept nicely, And this book almost looks brand new. But yeah, so the main reason why I wanted this book is because the cover is by Erik Larsen, or at least in part by Erik Larsen. You know what? I meant to look this up before I started making this video, but I'm pretty sure. I mean, this looks like Erik Larsen just drew it by himself, but it's also possible that he inked over Silvestri, maybe, since Mark Silvestri did the interior art on this book. So I'm not going to make any kind of bold proclamation as to who did what on this cover, but I know Erik Larsen was involved. Hey, it's me from later. I looked it up and I found out that the penciler of this cover is actually Jim Lee. And Erik Larsen did the inks on it. Like I said, Erik Larsen, when he inks, he's got a bit of a heavy hand, so to me this looks more like a Erik Larsen drawing than a Jim Lee drawing, but I can totally see it now particularly like in the hands. This Banshee looks very Jim Lee-ish. So, but I feel like these women have like Eric Larson faces. But yeah, great cover. I mean, these are some. It's hard to miss. It's weird because he didn't. No one. I don't see a signature anywhere. Normally, those guys would sign their work, but yeah, don't know. Maybe it was like down here or something, and they covered it up with this. I don't know what this is. Like how they, what the printing process was of adding these X-Men black and yellow. I don't know. Like they're busting out of a comic book cover, but it's like multiple comic book covers. I don't know. But yeah, as you know, I'm a huge, or if you're one of the two people that I send this video to, you know that I'm a big Eric Larson fan. If you're somebody who just stumbled onto this video, welcome, and I'm a big Eric Larson fan. So this is one of those books I just never had, but now I do. So anyway, I couldn't remember who did the interior art until I, actually bought the book and got in the car and looked at it. I was like, oh yeah, Marc Silvestri. What year was this? 1989. So we're still like 3 years away from the formation of Image. I did flip through this book and the artwork looks great. I can see how like this is sort of pre, like I said, it's pre-Image, but it's also, even before Image, these guys had a certain way of kind of laying out their books so that they would have like a cool giant image of a character so they could sell the artwork, the original artwork later, make it more valuable. And it looks like this is before they started doing that kind of thing, because everything's like within the panel borders in this book. I'm not complaining, it looks great. Marc Silvestri is an amazing artist. But yeah, I could just tell like, oh, this is a little, maybe a little tamer than what he would do later as far as like dynamic pages and stuff. But yeah, the artwork in this looks great. I love Marc Silvestri. I think he's an incredible artist. Glad to have this book in my collection finally. I feel like at some point, if I just keep doing this, keep going to the comic book stores, bringing home an X-Men book every week or two, I will eventually have like a really long run of Uncanny X-Men. Probably have all the ones from the 90s and the 80s. Not that that's my goal. I go to the comic book store a lot and I end up picking up old X-Men books that I never actually had. So there's that one. Put my address up there. So this is something that I ordered on the internet. I don't know if you've heard of it, but you can buy stuff there. It's a World Wide Web. In fact, you're watching this on the World Wide Web. Excuse me. Yeah. So these are some comics that I ordered like last week, I think. Let's put this over here. So this is Indie Planet. This is the website that I bought these comic books from. So Kablam is this company that will do digital printing. You can you upload a PDF of the comic book that you made and they'll sell printed copies, but they're like made to order. And you can also buy like digital versions and stuff. So a lot of people use this. I will eventually use this, I think, with something. I have a comic that I drew years ago that I never printed. So maybe one day I'll have Kablam print me a copy. But so that's that. I'm not trying to like promote them necessarily, but yeah, this is the website that I bought it from. So Indie Planet sells these comic books that are print to order. And I bought these from this artist named Steve Mannion, who I want to say he lives in Alabama. Anyway, I ran across his artwork years ago online, and thought he was amazing, and started following him on like Facebook and Instagram and stuff. And I don't know, he just like posted something last week on Facebook, and I started looking through his online store and found these books, and I was like, oh, these look awesome. So ordered a few copies. I have some other comics that he's done. He's done some stuff with Eric Powell, who's a local comic book artist here in the Nashville area. At least last I checked. I don't know. I haven't talked to that guy in a while. He may have moved, but these two have worked together on Spook House. But yeah, I think Steve Mannion's artwork is really amazing. And he just keeps getting better. Like, I've got some of his older comics, and this looks even better than the ones that I already have. Like, the amount of detail and stuff in this is really impressive. But yeah, like with all comics that I buy, I bought this for the artwork. So one of these days I'm going to make a video after I read these, and then I can actually talk about the story. But look how good that T-Rex looks, or these T-Rexes. So this is from 2013, so this is like an older book. I thought this was more recent. You know who this reminds me of? It just hit me. Raphael Grandpa. I'm not saying he's like trying to copy him or anything like that. I think his artwork is unique to itself, but it does, there's certain marks, like these little, like the hands and stuff, it just sort of reminds me of that. And like, see the marks on the back. But this is from also, like I said, 2013, so. Let's check this out. This is from 2024. Oh, this is cool. Wow, that's amazing. So, pretty sure this whole comic was drawn with ballpoint pen. I've seen some other artists do a lot of really cool work with ballpoint pens. And this is pretty cool. There's no words. I guess it doesn't really need to be. How cool is this? So there's a few words. Whoa, look how cool that is. Anyway, Steve Mannion's a really talented dude. That's the one I have. I have a copy of this. And I think this one, maybe? I don't know. I've bought a few of his books before. This guy's incredible. I keep saying the same thing over and over. Sorry. So I bought this one. This one stood out to me for some reason. I can't quite put my finger on why. But, ooh, this one's in full color. Yeah, this is more like what the stuff looks like that he did for Spook House. Wow, this looks amazing. Oh, I love that Krakoom. It's like three-dimensional. Oh, Great Haunted House. This is so cool. I love this. Love this too. This is very like kind of EC style. This is great. I wonder what kind of... I mean, I assume this is like, you know, practical media, like paints and things, but I mean, this could be digitally like colored, I mean. But it has like a handmade feel to it. I think this gotta be hand-drawn, right? Like on paper. Maybe with like colored pencils and stuff. Yeah. You can see like a pencil mark there for... It's pretty cool. Yeah, I love this. This looks so cool. I love the designs of these characters too. I'm definitely gonna have to order some more books from this guy. Whoa! That's awesome. I love that. By the way, that was my foot if you heard that sound. Wow, that's so neat. The swamp creature. She's back in shorts. The fearless one, fearless Dodge. Well, this is super cool. So, if you want to order some stuff, some comics from Steve Mannion, go to indieplanet.com. All right, I'll see you later.